Hello and welcome to another episode of Chit Chat and All That with me, Amanda Prowse.
And me, Penny Dommett. Thank you so much for joining us yet again around the kitchen table for a variety of subjects and chat.
Some people have actually complained that you've stopped saying the word subscribe.
You can follow us and subscribe. I can say subscribe so wonderfully now.
Is this why you've stopped saying it? Because you've mastered it?
Yes. We need to think of another word.
I think there's plenty. There's many words. At least 7 I can think of. Are you one of those people then, I'm getting from this, that maybe will try a hobby, do it till you're expert and then abandon it?
Yeah, there is a part of me. At the moment, I would just like to say, we are busy in the middle of wreath making.
Wreath making?
And for the last few years, to make it more sustainable, I get everybody to make their own wreath bases with willow.
I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
Penny.
You will be doing it.
I'm fretting because tomorrow we have a wreath making class.
Exactly.
And I'm fretting because already my anxiety is high because I'm cack at everything like that.
I promise you, everybody looks at me as if I'm mental when
Always.
I say, this is what you will be making. And they say, well, I can't do that. I'm never going to be able to do that. And they all walk out with the most beautiful wreath that they have made from start to finish themselves. And I promise, going back to your original thing, when you make a wreath base with willow, I'm doing the actions here.
You are.
Can't tell.
It's good for podcasts.
Yes. It's very therapeutic, but I'm literally on about wreath base number 37.
Oh, Penny.
Some people I know make hundreds. Literally, over Christmas they make hundreds.
Oh, wonderful.
And once you're really good at it, the problem is once you're really good at it, they look like ones you buy from a garden centre that have probably been made by a machine in China.
Right.
So it's a bit like the better they are, the less they look like you've made it yourself, the less artisan they look.
I think where I'm concerned, there is no danger of that. I should also say that I'm bringing my daughter-in-law-to-be, the lovely Sarah, who we've gone full Christmas. 1st of December, I decided, do you know what? We're going to go full Christmas. And I usually get a tree about a week before and then take it down the moment I can.
Yes,
because it drives me crazy by then. And we always have a real tree. We always have, because who doesn't?
Love the smell.
The smell, the pine needles in your socks, the hoovering them up for years afterwards, all that. But I love it. I think it's a really lovely thing. One of our dogs has allergies. She has sort of skin allergies, particularly to cedars and firs and that kind of thing. Well, call me a dum-dum. Last year, I kept saying to Simeon, the dog's really itchy. I can't work out why she's really itchy. And suddenly we were like, oh, hang on a minute. We've bought one of those trees that gives her allergies into the house.
Yes.
And she's walking past it going, snuffling, more so than usual. So this year I thought, yeah, it's so unfair. I can't do it. And I wasn't being cruel. It just literally never occurred to me.
No.
So we've bought a fake tree. And I've always thought, they can be really naff, can't they? But we've bought the most beautiful tree.
I can honestly attest to the fact that
pleased.
tree is beautiful.
Honestly, Pen. And it's a really weird thing because
you can't actually see the tree for lights.
You can't, which is always my secret weapon. More lights than you can shake a big stick at. I love it. But they've done something with the ends of the branches, so they're quite lifelike and almost a little bit curly, and they're different shades, and it looks fantastic. And as Simeon said, it's actually, even though it is, let's face it, it's 80% plastic, which I try to buy. I try as far as I can not to buy plastic or anything that isn't sustainable. But we'll have it for 20 years.
But that's the difference, you see. I mean, the point is, wouldn't it be nice to know? Is it better to buy a fake tree that you're going to keep for 20 years?
Yeah.
Is it better to have a Christmas tree that is cut down every year? That probably uses more carbon.
Yeah, and the energy of going in to buy one, driving there
to buy one, all of that.
Yeah.
Apparently the best one is having a Christmas tree in a pot.
Yes.
And then you put it outside and then you bring it back in. The problem with that is people forget they grow.
Yeah.
And I've been to clients' gardens and they've had this most enormous conifer in the garden and they went, oh yeah, that was Christmas 1982.
Yeah, we've got Christmas tree corner at the back of the paddock.
Oh, have you?
We've got 4. 2 are blue spruce, I think, and another 2 which I can't remember. But we've literally, one of them started off as a little tree, a table Christmas tree. It was literally, inches high, and it's now a few foot. Yeah. It's amazing. And I love it. We call it Christmas tree corner, and we just go around there and have a little hot chocolate over Christmas. One of our little things.
It's nice.
It's nice.
I mean, it's very difficult to know what is the best sustainable thing to do. I was reading an article by Sarah Raven.
Who's Sarah Avon?
Sarah Raven. Yeah. Have you not heard of Sarah Raven?
Are you saying Sarah Avon as in the river, or Raven as in leave the tower and it all falls down?
Leave the tower.
Gotcha.
Sarah Raven.
Yeah.
Very big in the gardening world.
Ah.
She is married to the person who owns Sissinghurst, isn't she?
I don't know. I feel like I should know, because the way you're talking to me is like the way you're throwing facts and information at me. Like, isn't she married to? I'm like, of course she. Oh, no, Sarah, who's married to the guy who.
Sarah Raven was one of the very first people to encourage you to grow cut flowers.
Oh, lovely.
That was where I heard of it first.
Amazing.
And she was one of the first people to write a book about it.
Well, thank you, Sarah, because my world is definitely enlivened every week.
Yes. But she. And she has the most amazing website and brochures about her bulbs that she sells. She sells dahlias.
Your commission, I'm just asking.
No, she is really good. I mean, for people that just want to buy a few bulbs, absolutely fantastic. Really, I've actually met her and she's very lovely. She does really good talks. Anyway, back to the plot. So she was saying one of the most sustainable things to decorate how to decorate at Christmas is to cut branches of trees rather than a whole tree. And she was sort of
Pen, I'm not being funny, I'm not a garden expert, but I could have told her that. Cut a branch off, not the whole tree. I just want one branch, I'm going to cut the tree down. No, don't do that.
No. Well, she was sort of suggesting ways of decorating it using seed heads and all sorts of things like that. But of course, old habits die hard. And people like to have a Christmas tree.
I like a bit of tat.
Yeah.
I love a bit of tat at Christmas. So things like my, automated snow globe.
Well, I've got a little box of tat that you've bought me over the years. For Christmas.
Do you mean a box of prized possessions?
Well, jingle bells.
Oh, yeah.
You bought me jingle bells last year.
Yeah.
So they're in there. The year before, I think you bought me something like snowmen.
Yeah. Well, I've given you wooden hearts, I know.
Oh, wooden hearts. Yeah, the wooden hearts, I've got those.
I don't think you minded those, though.
No, I like them all. I like them all.
Good. I'm glad. And yet they're in a box of tat. I'm a bit,
But the point is I make sure that Monty's never available to dress the Christmas tree with me, because he always goes straight for the things that Mandy's bought.
See?
Yeah.
Monty and I are mentally in tune, which is probably worrying, considering that he's a small boy and I have that same mentality and taste and sense of humour. We are in Spy Club together, but obviously, as again, can't mention it. No. Talking of tat, I did notice your nose wrinkle slightly when you arrived at the table of discussion, as I've just named it, the table of discussion, and said, God, what is that on the table?
Well, dear listener, all I can describe it as is something that your nan would have knitted or crocheted. Is it crocheted or knitted? It looks a bit...
It's knitted.
Of both.
Yeah.
But it's also in the brightest of colours, all mixed together.
Yeah.
I mean, every colour under the sun is all I can say.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because my nan made it.
Oh.
And she, this is really strange. So my nan was the most brilliant knitter. Really, really clever. She could make...
Was she a smoker? Because there's a very large burn there.
That was a burn from... She wasn't a smoker, bless her. That was from a curling tong.
Oh!
Yeah.
What, she had curly hair?
No, someone else put a curling
right.
tongue on it. I know, I'm devastated. But anyway, try not to notice it. Let's put a plant on it, Penny.
Is that what the plant was there for?
Did you move the plant?
Yes, I did, because it offends me. Because, dear listener, it is the deadest, saddest looking Tesco bought basil plant I have ever seen.
I do that in my pasta. I pick it off and put it in my pasta pen.
Yes.
I pick it off and put it in my pasta pen. Penny picked a pesto, picking pesto. That is my... What?
Yeah, but it's basil.
Rude.
Yeah.
You're rude.
But it's just a bit offensive.
That's my
I mean, how long do people keep things
months,
like that
obviously.
before it completely... Yeah, I should also point out that when I arrived this morning, on the side was a plant pot with stalks in it. And I said, what is that? And she said, well, it's dead, isn't it? Yes, it was very dead.
And then I said, I think it's a succulent, which explains why it was dead, because I hadn't looked after it or watered it. And you went, no, that's actually a sage.
Well, it was.
It was a sage. I've just thrown it away. So
it's quite difficult to kill them.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've managed it. You've managed it.
I think this plant to me, represents a kitchen garden. You know, you see all the chefs doing it. They go out in the garden, they pick up their little beets out of their neat little thing, and they put it in a shrug on their arm, and they come in and they make something fantastic. I pick these little leaves, pop them on my pasta, and I feel like I'm doing something a bit, organic and arty-farty.
It is quite nice. It is quite nice to have fresh herbs as opposed to dried herbs.
Yeah, you're backpedaling now. You've offended me.
But the thing is, it's better to grow herbs in your garden and not have them sprayed with all sorts of stuff.
Is that sprayed then?
Well, it's bought from a supermarket. I'm not saying it is because
How
I
do you
don't know
that's
that.
bought from a supermarket?
Well, you can tell it's a
it was,
bought,
but
because they all look the same, don't they?
All plants look the same.
No, they don't. No, oh my gosh, no, they don't.
Plants, pen.
But when you buy a herb from the supermarket, it always looks like that.
Where would I get my herbs from?
You can buy herbs from a garden centre, but they're normally ones that you would put in the ground.
Yeah.
Tip here. Weirdly, I can't grow parsley in my garden. A lot of people say it grows like a weed. I can't grow it. So it's an annual, which means that you couldn't overwinter it normally. But what I do is I grow it in the garden in tiny pots, if you buy it from the supermarket, or you can grow it from seed. But then I cut it all at its peak when it's all looking lovely and it's really fragrant and aromatic. Chop it up, pop it in the freezer.
Stop it.
Then every time you need parsley, just grab a handful out of the freezer, pop it in. It's all fresh. None of it's been sprayed. None of it's manky.
Do you
it's
need
all
parsley
lovely.
often, Pen?
Yeah, I use parsley a lot.
What's the point of parsley?
What do I put
What does
parsley
it
in?
do?
Parsley's got that lovely, it's part of the celery family. It's really, really lovely. It's got a lovely parsley taste.
Flavour.
Yeah, it is almost celery-like.
See, I use a lot of rosemary.
Yeah.
In everything. Rosemary and garlic are
You
my
could
go-tos.
probably freeze rosemary, but you wouldn't
Stop
really
it.
need to. No, you probably could.
I've got tons of rosemary growing in the bath.
I beg your pardon?
I've got in my not the bath upstairs.
Oh, right.
Although you could, it's filthy. I've got a herb bath outside.
Oh, what, lots? Because funnily enough, I was looking for some more rosemary to use in the wreath workshops.
I'll cut it all next week.
Don't cut it all.
Oh, okay. Well.
Because it doesn't like being cut. Don't cut it all. That will kill it.
I'll let you do it, Ben.
That will kill it. Perhaps that's what you did to your sage.
Oh, no.
Because it doesn't...
No, I tell you what it was, because I thought it was a succulent. I didn't want to overwater it, so I never watered it.
Oh, well, that
only
one.
lasted a week. I was gutted.
Yeah, I'm not
Don't tell
surprised.
Stevie, she bought it for me.
Oh, no. She knows now.
She might have told me it was a succulent. It's Stevie's fault. That's Stevie.
It's
She can sing, but can she grow a pot of sage? No.
Succulents don't really want watering.
Exactly.
You water them a couple of times a year.
That's it, and that's what I thought it was. Anyway, we digress. So can I just tell you about my blanket?
Oh, yes.
I'm not going to let
Back
you
to
get
the
away
blanket.
from my blanket that you clearly dislike. I'm leaving this to you.
It's not I dislike it. I like the fact that it holds memories for you.
Would you like it in your house?
No.
Okay. So my nan was an absolutely brilliant knitter. She could knit Aran jumpers, she could knit blankets, beautiful crochet baby things. She was really, really skilled at it. There's two things she did better than anyone, which was knitting and crocheting and making apple pies. They were her forte. She was wonderful. And my nan very sadly had dementia, which is, as we all know, rotten disease, horrible. But her knitting never really faltered. So even though she would start calling everyone hello darling and hello you, because she didn't know anyone really was, and she was elated at small things, and she would sit and sometimes in her own little world, and she would repeat the same 3 stories. Oh, hello, sound familiar? Even though all that was happening, and that demise is really, really painful to watch, her knitting skills didn't waver. And so she would collect scraps of wool, any old bits of wool that people would give her, the leftovers of the ends of balls, and she would create these blankets. And she just made them constantly.
Oh,
she had this
I love the blanket now.
Almost muscle memory. She just kept knitting blankets.
It's a bit like people with dementia who sing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We all have a few of them.
Oh,
and
that's
so
nice.
The wool is all very mismatched, and there's a few mistakes in it and things like that, which she would never have done in her sort of, I suppose, brighter years. But they mean so much.
Yeah.
Because all that love and... This is her whole history in these blankets, because it's the one thing that remained constant throughout her life. So I hope I've shamed you, Ben.
Yeah, you have.
Sorry, yeah.
You have shamed me. I feel really bad now. I feel really bad.
She'd find it funny that you don't like your blanket, and she'd say, bloody making her one then, is what she would say, Ken. And that'd be that.
Because it's a bit like the art of quilting. You know
I love a good quilt.
How in was it North America they used to make quilts that were based on parts of people's lives?
Yes.
Have you ever been to the American Museum just outside Bath?
I have.
And some of the quilts there,
Beautiful.
they're literally the size of a room.
Yeah, amazing.
And they are all, each square is made by a different member of the family, or, you know.
You'd tell which was mine, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd be like,
You'd
oh,
be able to-
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so wonderful though. But I
Yeah.
love anything that is a collective experience of women, I love. Anything that is a history of family or anything, I love. But most importantly, it's the fact that you are creating something beautiful to pass on.
Yeah.
Just absolutely wonderful. I'd love to make
My
a quilt.
sister makes quilts for all of the babies in the family.
She is so clever.
And
She
it's
is so
really
clever.
beautiful because she always puts a little quote on the bottom, and it is really, really lovely.
She's a
really
very
lovely.
talented lady,
Yeah.
and she sent me a card a little while ago,
Oh.
and it was this simple little beautiful, but it was quilting with a
Yeah.
picture on the front.
I know, it's so
I
clever,
thought,
isn't
that
it?
is stunning.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
really clever.
Whack them in Liberty, and you're paying £10 a pop.
But then she's also part of this lovely group that makes quilts for hospitals, for the NICU units and things.
Penny.
And that's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
What a
and
lovely thing
it's
to
all
do.
The fabric's all donated, and they all this little group of women make these incredible quilts.
Do they do it together? Do they
Yeah.
sit? Oh,
well,
that's so nice.
they do. They meet up once a month, I think.
I love it.
Yeah, and then they deliver them to foster children, get them, all sorts of different places. It's just a wonderful thing, and they get given a quilt each, and some of the lovely letters and things she's had saying
Penny.
this child has not let that quilt out of their sight. It's
Oh,
been
I
the
love
only
that.
thing they've had.
Penny.
I know.
Stop
I know.
it.
I know, but what a lovely thing to be able to hold that fabric
Yeah.
and sew it. Like, no different to writing a book.
Wow.
You're writing those words and you're sending it out there.
But there's something about a physical thing that's bringing you comfort. Like
Yeah.
if someone knits you a jumper.
Yeah. Don't knit me a jumper.
I was noted. Quick makes note to self to get another Christmas present. No, but when someone does that, all that hours of that
Yeah.
effort and that energy.
Yeah.
I know I've spoken before about my tapestry collection, which was done by. I have my middle hall is covered in embroidery pictures done by women. Have I told you about this?
No.
Penny, stop it.
I've
I know.
seen them, but
You've
I
seen
didn't
them.
realise
So
that
they
it
are-
was an
they are-
actual collection.
They are all done by, it was a kit you could buy sort of between the 1920s and the 1940s.
Oh, wow.
So they were done pretty much by women whose men were at war. And they weren't expensive and they were cheap. And you could buy a skein of thread and you could buy the kit from Woolworths or from Boots or from other places. And you would just sit of an evening in front of the radio, in front of the fire, and you would sew these
That's
kits.
what we used to
And
do.
they were all back in
Seriously.
1910. That's what we
Seriously.
used to do.
We were all brought up to embroider and sew. I hate it now.
Oh, Fen, I love it. But these are beautiful because I think it's not only, I mean, some of them are pretty croddily done, and some of them, the colourways they've chosen are pretty like, what were you thinking? But it's hours and hours of these women's work. And I find it fascinating. So whenever I find them or see them, I have to buy them because I can't let them go to, I
No.
can't let them go to waste. And I display them all. And they're identical. The pictures are all exactly the same because
Really?
it's a kit.
Oh,
So it's an
wow.
arch with roses and a little duck pond. A very, very kitsch, very, very sort of twee. I can't think what the word is. When you get something that's very, what's it called? It'll come to me. Don't know. Anyway, but I love them because it just speaks so much about the person that did it. What was she thinking? What was she going
But
through?
it's when you see these lovely embroideries that children used to do of alphabets.
I've got those too,
Yeah.
samplers.
Yeah, samplers. That's the
have
word I was
those.
looking for.
Yeah, I collect anything like
Yeah.
that. Simeon calls it tut. I call it investment future for the art for the future.
Yeah. What was that movement called? The something, I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah, but it's interesting, isn't it?
I love it, Pen. I absolutely
Arts
love
and
it.
crafts.
Arts and
movement.
crafts. Yes. Clue in the title.
Clue in the title.
We should have got
Clue
that.
in the title.
And also I noticed when you turned up this morning, I'm not saying you're demanding. I'm not. But you walked in on time.
Thank you.
Let the court
Thank you.
note she was on time. And I said, oh, do you want your croissant, Pen? You went, oh yeah, I'll have croissant. What would you like on it? And I opened the fridge and you said, do you have any marmalade? Yeah, what kind of marmalade? Oh, it's bitter marmalade. No, I don't want that. What jam have you got? Oh, I've got strawberry. Do you have raspberry? No, Penny. I've got strawberry. Oh, do you have raspberry? No raspberry, Pen. Oh, I'm not sure I want that. Don't like honey. Can I have butter? Oh, not that butter. Do you have any proper butter? I was like, do you think it's Waitrose? Do you think that inside this magic portal of fridge door you have this choice?
Well,
You're stood there going, oh no, not that. Have you got this? I'm like,
in my defence,
Yes.
I have never seen two bigger fridges than the fridges you have in your kitchen.
Ah.
They are massive.
They are.
They are worthy of Waitrose,
Yes,
is all I can say.
Thank you.
And one would assume that
Never assume.
you had a variety of condiments in there.
I think that you know me well enough to know by now.
Is jam a condiment?
No, I think it's not.
Condiment is only a sauce, isn't it?
Condiments are mustard in it.
Well, you see.
A mustard or a horseradish.
Does it have to be a savoury thing, a condiment? Because salt and pepper is a condiment.
Penny, we don't know. This is yet another Ask the Listener. Christine Perkins, send an email. She'll Google it.
She will. She's great.
She's actually quicker than Google.
She's my PA now.
She's everything. She does everything.
It was her birthday.
I know. Did you send a message?
Yes, I did send a message.
Happy birthday, Christine.
Yes.
Belated.
Yes.
We hope you had a lovely time. Of course she did. With her
Of course she
family, with that clementine, knocking back the Prosecco.
Please, listener, send us in messages. We love it.
We do.
Yeah,
and
we
let us
do.
know. Is
Yeah.
jam a condiment? I don't think it is, but you know. But yes, I was going to say you should know me by now to know well enough that you are never going to find 4 different varieties of fruit in my kitchen, but there are 18 flavours of Monster Munch in the larder.
I don't think I've ever had a Monster Munch.
Shut up.
I haven't.
What?
No. Do you know, as I've got older, this is interesting.
I hope so.
As I've got older, I've become much more aware of what's in things.
Like?
Well, like, you know, the rubbish that they put in things to make it last for 16 years without rotting.
Tastes good though, doesn't it, Penny?
Well, does it?
Yeah, a little
Does
bit.
it?
Little bit.
I find as well. I mean, I can't eat certain things because I wake up all night and I've got this like raging thirst.
Oh yeah.
So they
yeah.
must put loads of salt.
I'm like that
and
with
stuff.
cheddars.
Oh, bleh.
I don't like
those.
a cheddar.
No.
Cheddar's the best thing in the world.
No, they're too cheesy.
They do a variety that aren't cheesy. They're called crackers.
Oh, really?
Just a cracker pen.
Oh no, I couldn't eat that.
Oh,
too
no.
too salty.
You see, I know what you're saying. I'm joking, but I am too very conscious that things are overly processed and overly salted. And I find particularly on the rare occasion when we do have a sort of takeaway meal, which is rare because we live in the middle of bloody nowhere. Otherwise, I'm sure we'd
Nothing
more.
gets delivered.
Exactly. But occasionally we will have a takeaway, and I find that leaves me with a raging
Yeah.
thirst and really feeling quite ill in the morning.
Certain pizzas. Oh my gosh, can't eat that.
No.
It literally, I mean, I could, gallons of water.
Yeah.
So, but you see, I don't really add it in cooking anymore.
No, I do on certain things.
There's
yeah.
certain things, I mean, roast potatoes goes without saying.
Of
You've got
course,
to put
hello.
salt on. But the other things I don't really.
No.
But then you do need a certain amount of salt, don't you?
Brings out the taste, but also I think do you know what, it's all about balance, Pen. Life's too bloody short, but also, you know, I'm not knocking back a bottle of vodka. I'm not smoking a cigarette, so therefore if I want to put salt on my jacket potato,
true.
so be it. I
True.
think.
I don't go, oh, I mustn't have salt.
No.
But I just find that I can't have too much of it these
But
days.
don't you occasionally?
These days.
Oh, Penny. We're getting there fast.
I know.
You know that, don't
I
you?
know. We blink suddenly. I don't know where time goes.
I don't.
Literally, we were here last week.
It's forever
talking.
Friday. We can't say Friday, thank God. But this year,
No,
I mean,
it's gone past so quickly.
I can't believe last week, what was it, December the 1st? And I thought that can't be right.
But ridiculously, I think it's because we don't have seasons anymore.
Yeah, I think partly, but I think
I
life's
did.
fast.
Well, and I did a wreath workshop in a t-shirt. How mad is that?
That's
It was
crazy.
14 degrees outside.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, it does feel nice, but I'm sure it's messing up lots of things for you.
Well, and is it nice? Because it's grey and miserable and wet instead of being bright and cold
I
and
like
sunny.
cold. I do like
I
cold.
much prefer it cold.
I like a cold house.
Yeah.
I like it cold outside. I hate central heating. We've had this conversation before. Find it really oppressive, and I get a bit of a headache. Do you? This is like our ailments, isn't it? This is like my nan and Bet on the bus talking about everything that's wrong with them. Penny,
I've been on a bus
us
for years.
So hang on a minute. You've never had a cheddar. You don't go to IKEA.
Yeah, but I don't go out.
You don't go out. You've never been on a bus. Why are you friends?
IKEA. I mean, IKEA, for goodness sake. That would be like, okay, I'm going to give you 5 things that you really hate. IKEA would be up there.
IKEA with a bag of cheddars to eat as you went round.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I will make it happen.
Actually, IKEA in Birmingham with a bag of cheddars, which would mean I'd have to get to Birmingham.
On the motorway.
On a bus.
Not that it's in Birmingham.
On a bus. That would be even worse. So, I've got to go out
Yeah.
in mismatched pants and socks.
Stop it.
In an uncoordinated outfit.
Penny.
Haven't brushed my hair. Get on a bus.
Yeah.
Go to Birmingham, out of the postcode. No, it could be anywhere.
Good.
It could be anywhere.
Birmingham's great.
Anywhere out of the postcode.
Yeah.
Okay. To IKEA.
Oh, eating cheddars.
Eating cheddars.
Penny.
Or Munster Munch.
You've never had a Monster Munch?
No.
Pickled onion
I don't
Monster
like the
Munch.
picture on the front of the packet.
You don't have to look at it, you love. Don't have to look at it, eat
Yeah,
them.
but I mean, I'm very swayed by what I see. We go back to the same old subject. The front cover of a book,
Yeah.
to me, makes me want to read it or not.
You do judge a book by
Yes,
its cover.
I really do.
I think everyone does, really.
Everybody must do.
They must do it.
And I don't care what anybody says. This idea of wrapping up books in brown paper and trying to sell them, I don't believe anybody does it.
Some people do.
Yes, but I mean, come on. You're not going to buy a book when it says love story about two people, one of them dies. Well, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. It's Romeo and Juliet, actually. I mean,
Or Romeo and Juliet, as we were talking about earlier.
I mean, I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna buy it.
Well, there we go.
Same way, I'm not gonna eat Monster Munch because I don't like the scary picture on the front.
Same way you're not going to eat basil because you think the plant's dead, you don't like my
It is a
blanket,
bit.
and
Look
you're
at that.
complaining
Look at
about the
those
state
brown
of my
leaves.
fridge.
Look at those brown leaves.
Can I explain, actually, the reason I have two very large fridges?
I thought you were going to say, can I explain the reason why it's got brown leaves? In which case I was about to be
It's only
astounded.
that one, isn't it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brown
Okay,
leaves.
shut up. So the reason I have two very large fridges is because when we moved in,
It's all the gin, listener.
I wish it was. I don't even drink. There were lots of people here. Lots of people living here. Kids, grown-up kids, their partners, other family members, kids. It was just bursting at the seams. And as we've already established, we live in the middle of bloody nowhere. And I found it almost impossible to keep enough food, enough provisions, enough milk, enough everything with just one regular fridge for all those people because we can't get to a shop so easily.
Have you not heard of Ocado?
Yeah, but it was sort of...
Pre-Ocado.
No. Is there a time for the Ocado? I know not of it. Ocado, they don't just do Waitrose anymore, do they?
No,
They do Marks and Sparks.
Ocado isn't Waitrose.
It used to be.
Ocado's Marks and Spencer's.
Ocado used to be just Waitrose.
Really?
Oh, Piers Brosnan, Sweetbreads, help me out. Ocado used to be...
I thought Waitrose have always been Waitrose. I get my Waitrose delivery with a lovely man in a uniform.
Oh, hello. Oi, oi.
Well, that's what I tell Robert.
Usually when they're talking about men in uniform, it's not usually... Although, you know what, Pen? Each to their own. And that's
Exactly.
a whole other conversation
It's
for a
the
whole
green.
other day.
It's the green uniform that does it for me.
She says, married to a soldier. Need I say more? No, don't throw that away. Keep that uniform. You never know. You might need it, but I don't need this one anymore. Yeah, you do. Just hang on to it. For Christmas and birthdays. But no, we had this... Ocado used to be just Waitrose delivery.
Oh.
And then Waitrose developed their own delivery system, and Ocado now does... They sort of outsourced it to Ocado, who are a separate company, and now they do Marks and Sparks, Waitrose, and others.
Yeah.
It feels like I work for Ocado.
Yeah,
I know
because
so much about
Ocado,
it.
you can even get Dalesford on Ocado now.
What's Dalesford?
Oh, for goodness sake. Why are we
Listen,
friends?
you can't say,
Why are
oh,
we
for goodness
friends?
sake, when you've never eaten a Monster Munch. That's all I'm saying.
Dalesford, lovely day out. Owned by the Bamfords.
I've got crab. Sorry, Ben.
Owned by the Bamfords.
What's the Bamfords? Oh, my leg.
Mr. JCB.
Hang on a minute. I've got to move.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Carry on talking.
Yeah, JCB. Mr. JCB. My son used to work for JCB. And no, the other one. The good-looking, gorgeous one.
Oh, he's so
Yeah,
lovely.
I know.
He's my favourite.
Don't tell him.
Benjamin's my favourite.
Anyway, so they opened this lovely farm building
The JCB
thing.
people?
Yes, called Dalesford.
I bet know they got to dig the foundations.
No, it's very beautiful. Very lovely for a day out.
Is it muddy?
I mean, no.
I've been to
but
Diggerland.
I went to... Oh, that's lovely.
Is it the same?
No.
Oh.
No, there's no diggers there.
Oh.
It's beautiful. It's owned by his wife.
Oh.
And it's like a very upmarket farm shop.
Oh, I
Very
love a
lovely.
farm shop.
But it's very lovely. They've got a lovely place to eat, and the market garden's amazing.
Where is it?
Near Stow-on-the-Wold.
Oh, okay.
It's very beautiful. I go out of the postcode for that.
Good.
Occasionally. It's a real treat. I mean, it is a real treat. We don't buy anything. It's too expensive.
Farm shops are ridiculous. Do you know what? Talking of garden centres, I was in the garden centre yesterday over in Chepstow, as you do. And I thought, oh, a little bag of sweets, buy one for the kids when I get home. This tiny bag of sweets, and it was £4.96. And I thought, I'm not being funny, but what? I can't do that. And it was just literally rhubarb and custards wrapped up in plastic.
Why would it be £4.96?
I don't know, but it was stuck in my mind.
How do you work out? We're going to charge £4.96?
No, we're going to charge a £5. People won't pay a £5. Oh, I know. Let's go £4.96.
Because £4.99 sounds cliched.
See? You might not realise.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I don't go to garden centres much, as you can imagine.
Oh, it's my favourite day out.
Really? But you don't like plants?
No, I like garden centre cafes.
Really? Oh, I hate garden centre cafes.
Are you Penny?
Yeah.
I don't. If anyone's listening for the first time, they're going to be thinking, well, these two have clearly just met. Absolutely nothing in common. That's not a friendship that's going to last.
I've spent quite a lot of time in the local garden centre's soft play area. That's why I probably don't like it.
With Rob, yeah. With his fireman finger.
It. I mean, honestly, I dread to think the germs in that place. But I mean,
it's good for them.
You know, it's good for them.
It's good for them. Let's face it, if they're not licking Monster Munch off the floor, then at least get them in a soft play centre to get a bit of germs into them.
I mean, Monty just eats mud now. It's easier.
So great.
It's easier.
He's my real favourite, the Monty. Right, my love. Well, can you believe it? We've come to the end of another.
Things.
All the things.
Yeah.
We didn't actually get onto any of our topics today.
No,
we just
didn't.
kind of had a bit of a waffle.
Yeah, that was a definite waffling half an hour.
Do you know what it was?
Sorry.
Pen? It was a perfect example of the collective consciousness, kindness, love and education that women bring to each other. This is what those women who are sewing, when they sew together, when they make quilts together, when they embroider together, that's what this is about. This is a perfect example of literally just being able to chat and vent and laugh. And this includes everyone who's listening. It's that friendship across the airwaves. That's exactly what it's all about. So I have really, really enjoyed today's episode.
I've really enjoyed it. I think as well we should mention that we're going to be doing something very similar next time.
We are.
We are going to be doing a wreath workshop. So
Tomorrow.
You're all going to be busy and we're going to do a little bit of recording.
We'll record it.
So we'll record us all talking nonsense whilst we're busy with our hands.
We will do that. And then Christine can respond to everybody.
Yes.
That'll keep her busy.
Definitely. That'll keep her busy.
Oh, thank you so much. And you can, of course, catch up on all previous episodes from wherever you get your listening. Until next time, take care.
Bye.